Hello everyone and welcome to the third part of a series on Java MySQL deployment from Java to Jar to setup.exe with JDK17. So our Java software is going to use a database, a MySQL database. Before installing the software on a client PC, it is good to ensure that the SQL files of all databases required for the software are copied from the development PC so that we can replicate them on the client PC. If the database was created using a .sql file, just copy the file into the installation device. If the database was created using an IDE such as MySQL Workbench, you can also save the database to a .sql file and copy the file into the installation device. So, how do we generate an SQL file from MySQL Workbench? Open the database in MySQL Workbench. You can double click on the database name. For example, the software uses this arms.mwb and armsresult.mwb. So if we double click arms.mwb, it is shown on the screen here. So if we follow the script on this node, what we just do is go to File, Export, Forward Engineer, File, Export, Forward Engineer, Create Script, this one. Then you press Enter. If this is the first time you are saving the database, you may be required to browse to a location and enter a specific name. So if I click on browse and I am in a location, I can just type a name for the database file that I want to create and click save. If the file did not exist before, this will not show. So you say yes and then you click next. Export MySQL table objects. There are 10 tables in this database. You click next. So this is the database file. You can browse through it. Create schema if not exists. And this is the name. So all the tables are listed here. Then you can click finish. The file has been created. So you can see the file here, arms.sql. You can now copy this file and put it in the installation device. Now you can close the window. The next thing is, if some SQL data in the development database is required in the client database, you must ensure that all such required data is dumped into their respective SQL files. For example, you may want to create preset username and passwords in the development database so that you copy them to the client database. So when the client creates new users, they can log in and change their passwords. Such kind of data should be dumped. So how do we dump data from a MySQL database into an SQL file? One way to do it is to open the command prompt and then select a suitable name for the dump file. For example, the ARMS database, you can give it a name that looks like this. In my own case, I start with the name of the database, then the DMP indicates a dump file, and the date of the dump is shown so that I can be able to monitor the different stages of dumping, and it has to be a .sql file. So after we open the command prompt, the first thing is to change the directory to the place where you want the files to be dumped. And after that, we can issue the dump command, MySQL dump, just like this. Copy this, paste it. It will ask for the database security password. Copy the password and paste it. So when we look into this directory, we discover that the database has been dumped.